Hey guys, SK here, back with another Clash Royale video, and I have a really good one for you guys. As you can see, right now we are joined by 7.4 in-game, and that is not something I have said, I think ever. I've never commentated over 7.4's gameplay before. I have done numerous videos on his 3.0 Xbow Cycle games, whether they are top 50 global tournaments, top 50, even top 10 ladder finishes, many videos on him in the past, and I'm really happy to be seeing him back in the game and to be able to make a video again to show you guys as well. So I will be doing a commentary video this time. I did record a video on his gameplay last week, or maybe I think around a week ago, if not at least like within the last couple of weeks, because he has returned during this season as we are going up against Big Spin, a pretty good player, very well known and known to be a graveyard player. I believe his name actually means loves graveyard in German, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken, but yeah, so I wasn't actually feeling up to commentating and everything about a week ago when I was going through some stuff when I made that video on 7.4's first few games back, where he actually pushed really high on ladder. It was really good, considering he hasn't played in like 6-8 months, I believe, at least. Actually, almost a year. He quit after August last year, and it's pretty much end of July right now. But yeah, I wasn't really feeling up to it, but I'm really happy because I still think I did a really good job. I'm really proud of that video. Overall, I really liked the editing I did on it, and I was honestly really happy with it. But of course, a lot of people said that they missed the commentary, which is understandable, but sometimes, guys, I won't be doing commentary videos if I'm not really feeling up to it. For the most part, though, it's obviously the preferred choice. I'll be going with it when I can. But yeah, today we're going to be commentating over 7.4's games. A lot of people have requested for more 7.4 on the channel, and I'm here to deliver. So here we are. He's using 3.0 Xbow Cycle, which is a very much a dead deck as of this point in the meta. Pretty much the only Xbow deck that's been having some success are Queen Bow variants, mostly with Rocket and Cannon, because both of those are just better, especially Cannon. Tesla is such a weak card right now. Cannon is just a better Tesla in every single way. Big Spin overcommitting with that Skeleton King ability there on the right, and 7.4 recognizing that, going in with this really nice Xbow Knight to retarget the Baby Dragon, although a really nice Tornado to retarget back, and once again just a game of ping pong of retargeting as 7.4 pushes the Baby Dragon off the Xbow with that Fireball. So just a retargeting war there, and 7.4 is rewarded with a very lucrative lock in the left side lane, as he is taking Big Spin's tower down to about 2,350, not about, exactly that much. And 7.4 goes for the defense Expo. Now, this is the anti-poison placement, but you'll notice that he's actually going for it in his weak lane, and the reason for that is because Big Spin did play the Skeleton King in the left, so 7.4 didn't want to feed a graveyard push same lane with the Expo. So even though usually you do want your anti-spell Expos to be opposite lane, in this situation 7.4 did recognize that, and that was a really bad graveyard, I would say, by Big Spin, because look at this. 7.4 can just get away with E-Spirit Archers, full perfect counter on the graveyard, and he gets an amazing Expo opportunity here. So ability coming down, but 7.4 holding on to that log, did not need it for the graveyard whatsoever, because archers were able to clean up. And this is a pretty common theme that you see in graveyard matchups, where you do like to go in at the same time as the opponent, especially in Splashyard situations, because if they only have poison for your archers, if they go in and you go for an Expo, and you have obviously a decent control of what they're going in with, like if they go Baby Dragon Graveyard, you go for Expo opposite, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. But if you have like a Knight or a Tesla already on the board, you usually go in, and then they can't actually afford to poison your archers. More often than not, they're either stuck poisoning your Expo opposite lane, or they have to commit to your Expo with non-poison troops. Either way will not have enough elixir for the poison. 7.4 just constantly switching lanes back and forth. Prediction Fireball hitting the Tombstone, and Big Spin is not back to anything in time here. He was actually back to the Ice Whiz, but didn't have enough elixir, it looked like. Log does push everything back, and 7.4 just holding on to that connection, insane, getting the lock, and that's something that you see a lot of the time. Constant aggression, constant switching of lanes, even though sometimes he went in on the right side, even where Big Spin can get poison value on his tower. He still just constantly switched lanes, outcycled the poison, overwhelmed Big Spin, and walked away with a very nice win in the first game of this video. Alright guys, and we are back with another game against Eat Golem, and looks like 7.4 has finally switched to the Ice Spirit, the classical version of 3.0, the longest standing spirit in the game, I'm pretty sure. Fire Spirit was probably out around the same time, but E-Spirit was definitely newer, and finally is switching. 7.4 also reached about 7,554 trophies, if I'm not mistaken, after the last game, putting him at rank 211 in the world, so he's going to be continuing. I think he's going for 7,600 trophies, which would be really impressive, of course. And Eat Golem, that name sounds like he's playing a deck that counters Golem. I mean, Fisherman, Hunter, Zappies does look like it is going to counter Golem pretty hard, but if I had to guess, I would say it's going to be a Graveyard deck, just because he does have the Snowball in here, as well as the Skeleton King. Snowball is usually a pretty rare card, but it is sometimes seen in Graveyard decks, especially Giant Graveyard, or these heavier decks. We might see an Xbow out of 7.4 here. We don't. Interesting. I guess he doesn't know what the opponent has, like, in terms of his full deck, so he's not really comfortable going in super aggressively yet. Really nice skeletons there. Notice how 7.4 was able to hold the Fisherman off from attacking the Knight, allowing the Knight to do its job of taking care of the Skeleton King. Log comes down as well, hitting the tower and making sure the Knight finishes the Fisherman off. Ice Spirit to pressure as well, recognizing because the opponent has no cheap cards. Real nice pressure. Zappies were forced out, and the Ice Spirit still did connect, so pretty nice Ice Spirit there, which is why I went for the Ice Spirit emote. Arrows as well, so Snowball Arrows definitely does look like a Graveyard deck. We might see an Xbow on the right here. Okay, not anymore because of the Fisherman. 7.4 choosing to play this very safe, which I do think is pretty respectable. We should see an Xbow. Okay, actually, not what I was expecting. Defensive Xbow out of 7.4. And okay, Giant Skeleton is there. Should see, yeah, Graveyard as well. So pretty annoying stuff here. Archers might get arrows off, and they do. But the Giant Skeleton is just barely taken out in time, so thankfully, before the Graveyard is able to do too much damage, it is able to be cleaned up. We do see another Xbow now, so opponent does not have a Giant Skeleton in cycle. Fireball does come down to clear the Zappies, and opponent is stuck pretty bad Snowball. He had to go for like a Hunter or Skelly King there, and now he's just in a world of trouble, because Hunter is probably going to come down, or Giant Skeleton, or actually just going to give up. So 7.4 played this very passively, which I really respect, because opponent has a super big, heavy deck. So he kind of just went for defensive Xbow to set up momentum in his favor, and then went in after outcycling both of the opponent's counters. Alright guys, getting into the next game against P.E.K.K.A. Suigetsu. Apologies if I butchered that name, but you'll notice that there was a bit of a gap in the rank between 7.4's placement in the first match and the match just now, even though we did go up in trophies, and that's because I had to record the video later on, or rather I had to go after the first video. So he was ranked 211, now he's ranked 248 I believe, and continuing now, and Fireball is forced out of P.E.K.K.A. Ice Spirit predicts the Fire Spirit, but unfortunately Fire Spirit Splash is so ridiculous that it still hits the Xbow. If that Ice Spirit was maybe one more to the left, and the Fire Spirit didn't splash the Xbow, that probably would have been another 300 or so damage, which would have been very nice for 7.4, of course. But still, going up against Goblin Drill here, and 7.4 actually back in the day, I haven't talked about him much, but he is, in my opinion, the best Xbow player, or at least if you talk about all time, I think he is. Obviously right now he hasn't played in quite a while, so you're probably going to say Betfus or Aragon is, and I totally agree with that, but in terms of all time, I definitely think 7.4 is a contender, probably tied with Lemon Tree. But I personally prefer 7.4 more, probably because I actually talk to him and know him as well. Lemon Tree was kind of just a really good player, but of course more mysterious. Log comes down, unfortunately, bit of a mistiming on that log. However, opponent is actually going to... Okay, Knight does barely get placed in time to block, and that is absolutely huge, because if 7.4 didn't get a connection there, he might have been screwed, but just because of that Knight being able to block, he is somehow able to even it up again. So what I like to call this is kind of simplifying the game, where they're both getting equal tower damage in opposite lanes, so it's essentially the same kind of game, just each side has about equal tower to HP, like at the start, except now it's obviously simplified. It's been cut down to the 1700s as opposed to full 4K. But guards come down, 7.4 committing everything to this Xbow. We see a log on the Wallbreakers, and we do, and actually really nice log, because this should actually lock on. Okay, skeletons come down for the bomber. Guards come down, though. That's a bit of an overcommitment. So after these guards get kind of taken out, we might see another Xbow, and we do. Actually, archers to cycle back to the Xbow. Looks like he wasn't back to one. But they will obviously stop the Inferno tower as well. Knight as well should see a low Inferno, and that will definitely get fireballed off by 7-4 here. Yes, it will. And then Wallbreakers come down, which do get logged off. And Fire Spirit jumps, which does mean the Xbow locks on the tower. That is incredible. That is going to be GG, because even if a fireball comes down for this Xbow, 7-4 basically got the connection. Now all he needs to do is defend one more drill push, which he should definitely be able to do. Yeah, Ice Spirit, Knight. Notice all the perfect micro placements and timing. Ice Spirit to distract the bomber, Knight for the drill, not leaving any chance for the opponent to get damage. Even going for skeletons on the opponent's side of the map, just to prevent the Fire Spirit from connecting. But very nice win against Goblin Drill. Gonna put 7-4 at 7599. Alright guys, and we are back, and we are one win away from 7600, as you saw after the last match. Found the match against OVA Jonah, so this is going to be Jonah, pretty good player, mini P.E.K.K.A and Zap, so could be Goblin Giant Sparky or Giant Sparky if I had to guess. Yeah, Sparky comes down. Jonah, I believe, is a clone player normally, if I'm not mistaken, but I think he is quite a good player, so he's usually able to play a bunch of things. Defensive Xbow out of 7-4. This is a bit suboptimal because he did already use his Knight, so if Jonah does push, 7-4 does not have his Knight in cycle for the Goblin Giant or the Sparky, but Mirror Sparky is the option that Jonah elects to go for instead, opposite lane, just letting the left lane Sparky go, and trying to basically waste 7-4's defensive Xbow value. Doesn't want to push into the defensive Xbow, it looks like, and actually messes up with that Giant. Actually, no, never mind. For some reason, I just hallucinated. I thought the Xbow was on the Sparky. Of course it wasn't, but Ice Spirit to reset the Sparky's charge. I believe the Sparky will actually one-shot the Knight. So normally the interaction is Sparky does not one-shot Knight, but I think that one actually might. But Log comes down. Okay, Heal Spirit. Oh my god, that was incredible, guys. That looked like such a small little thing, but it was actually so huge. 7-4, recognizing that Jonah has Mirror in the deck, goes for low skeletons instead of the optimal skeletons to surround the Sparky to tank multiple hits, because he knows that Jonah could mirror the Heal Spirit if he decides to, and that would mean skeletons get taken out, and 7-4 would actually probably just lose, because Sparky would get healed up, he would be in a lot of trouble. It would probably hit the Ice Spirit and then probably hit the tower. Level 16 Sparky is no joke. So really amazing. Just I really want to emphasize how good people like 7-4's micro skills are, because they basically, he has this muscle memory from all this time ago. Obviously he hasn't played in so long, but he's still able to do so well because he has the muscle memory. So even when you don't play for a while, if you're a really good player, all those kind of traits just kind of stay there, I would say. Because even for me, I've noticed, even when I take some time away from the game, even if I don't think about it, when I come back and play, I just do things that I used to do, that I learned were optimal to do, even if I'm not really thinking about them. So make sure you guys practice these habits. And a very good way to learn, of course, is with videos like these, so hopefully this one's helpful for you guys. But yeah, I'll probably call it after this video, or after this match, because I think 7-4 is going to win, even though this is a pretty annoying matchup with the mirror in there. At least Jonah doesn't have arrows or a fireball, so 7-4 is able to just lean on these defensive Xbows. But probably just going to do a bit of a shorter video today, and then maybe I'll do another 7-4 video during the season end, we'll see. But pretty big giant mini P.E.K.K.A push in the left. NATO Zap as well, pretty annoying play because it does take care of the archers, of course, but 7-4 still able to defend last second with that Knight. And notice his placements, all of his buildings are not getting splashed by the Sparky. That's pretty important as well. Even when he went for that Tesla next to his tower, it was placed in such a way that the Sparky hitting it would not hit the tower. So these are all placements that you need to know if you want to have success with this deck, which is why it's so impressive that 7-4 is doing so well. Because it is, again, one of the worst metas for the deck, and he somehow pushed up. I wish I was able to catch some of his other games, for example, against E-Giant, Earthquake Mirror, and all those other stupid decks, but still, obviously, he is this high. He has pushed up in this ridiculous meta. So Sparky NATO out of Jonah, pretty good play, but 7-4 kind of on top of it, did not really allow it to happen, kind of played his stuff really early, so Jonah wasn't able to get that off. Notice how 7-4 does let the Tesla die as well, and just barely archers come down. That was so scary, because if that Sparky hit the tower, it would have been game over. But essentially this game has been complete defense by 7-4 the whole time, because he recognizes the opponent has Sparky and Giant and Mirror, so even if the opponent, Jonah, cycles a Giant at any time, he can just mirror the Giant onto the Xbow. and last second skeletons come down for the mini P.E.K.K.A, and 7.4 has really taken no tower damage by anything except spells, I'm pretty sure. So this is just a masterclass in micro, I would say. So pretty nice log comes down, mini P.E.K.K.A opposite lane out of Jonah, trying to do some dual lane pressure, but 7.4 is ready for it. Recognize that the NATO is probably going to come down with a Sparky, lets that Tesla die, and actually gets back to another one. Knight for the Sparky, or probably back to yet another Tesla, and we are, so multiple Tesla cycled on defense here by 7.4. Archers as well, skeletons, and that is just going to be GG. Fireball on defense, not even necessary on offense, because he already has enough damage from before. And overall, just pretty much a masterclass in micro defense again, and this is just the level that you have to play if you want to have success with this deck, and 7.4 definitely playing at that level, and finally does cross 7,600 trophies with a flawless win streak today. No losses in between the games. That is going to put 7.4 at 7,617 trophies, top 200 in the world. So I think I'm going to call the video there, guys, because I don't have too much time. And I could obviously sit here and watch 7.4 play forever if I really wanted to, but sadly don't really have that opportunity right now. But I still got some real nice games for you guys, and again, I'm happy to have brought you another commentary video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. It has been quite a while since I've done actually a special guest commentary video, so hopefully it was enjoyable for you guys, and let me know if you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about 7.4, I noticed a lot of people asked questions like, or mentioned they didn't know who he was, but that he was amazing at the game, and was really nice to see that video of mine, which I was grateful for. Glad you guys enjoyed it. But yeah, that's going to be it. For me, I'll probably have some ladder pushing videos of my own coming out during the season end as well, but did want to get some 7.4 gameplay in because, again, he is pretty much my favorite Xbow player, and if he came back, I would have to record his game, so that's what I'm doing. But yeah, let me know if you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.